What if I snatch this card reader?
If you snatch it?
Yeah, and I want to go and use it.
Snatch it?
But a politician don't these things happen. If I snatch and I want to use it.
The question is, no, they can't use it if they snatch.
They can't use it?
No, it's not possible.
Why?
First of
if
all,
I snatch permanent voter cards, 1,000, and I maybe if a particular unit, and I target that same unit where the card reader has been configured, and I snatch that one.
And to go and use it where?
You know what? One has
can't
to
get accredited. You need to register. That's another thing.
Well, one must chuckle at that. It sounds improbable and it sounds ludicrous. But I think the thinking is, have you thought of all the possibilities?
Oh, yes.
Because people can come up with any sort of thing. If it's not going to be useful to me, I will ensure that it's not useful to those who are using it. I mean, people think like that.
Well, we've given thought to practically every consideration. Because we know the average Nigerian politician thinks, well, with due respect to them, they always want to be a step ahead of us. But we also know that we must be 10 steps ahead of them. Since 2011, we've been improving on the electoral process to the point that politicians have also had to come out to admit that things are getting better in Nigeria. I think for this particular election this year, the taste of a pudding will be in the eating. People will be surprised at how effectively what we are deploying to the field will work. We are not going to move to the field with our staff without adequate security protection. Since 2011, we've been working closely with all the security agencies. We have a committee in place, Access, the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. We brainstorm on all of these things. The smart carriers will be kept in such a way that access to it by members of the public will be very, very difficult. Because first of all, we are not moving them to the field until the eve of election, one. And two, where we're going to sleep, we're going to have adequate security protection. I'm not talking of 20 or 30 policemen. You are talking of not less than, in any ward, not less than 500 security men at any point in time.
In any ward?
Yes, because
500.
all of us will move to the polling units in the morning.
Oh.
So we sleep there.
How many of these wards do we have in Lagos?
245, as I keep saying.
So 500 in 244, that's the amount of security. For
No, it's even more than that.
About 10,000.
Even more. No, more than that.
15,000.
We are going to need not less than 25,000 security. And the police alone has over 30,000. We also need the services of the civil defense, immigration, customs, SSS. All of them will be also be there.
You know, there's talk about elections, total number of votes cast and total number of accredited voters. This card, how can it help rectify the anomalies or the problems that we always have when we talk about total number of votes cast, maybe higher than total number of those that have been accredited?
You're right. Yeah, it does happen now and then. One of the additional features of this device is that it records the number of people accredited. So if in a polling unit that has 750 voters, and let's say 450 people came forward to be accredited, it will keep the record there. That's one. We have two features inside, two cards inside. One keeps the record. The other one also transmits the record immediately to a central server in our office. So we have the figures already in our office, even by the end of accreditation. So after voting, should anybody want to inflate the figures or want to ambush our officials on the way, take away the result sheets and then inflate the figures, it won't work because already we have the figures with us.
Kazim says he wants to know if these card readers have sufficient firewall against hacker MasterCards.
I'm not a technician, but my engineer is there.
It does.
Okay.
Okay, Kazim, engineer says it does.
And if you misplace your card before the election, what do you do?
Unfortunately, we may not be able to replace it for you now.
Oh dear.
Ordinarily, we've promised Nigerians that the first replacement will be done free. But when we are still battling with getting originals for some people, if you mistakenly misplace yours now, sorry.
Isaac Ojo says, if someone registered in 2011 and did not see his card and registers in 2014, is there any chance that there will be 2 cards printed? He goes on to say his wife saw 2 PVCs of hers, but they gave her only 1. What happens to the other?
We keep the remaining one.
So it's possible that if
It's
you
possible.
registered
It's
at that
happened.
time
I've seen. Yes, I've seen that.
Okay. About the technology on the card readers, we understand it's GSM based, isn't it?
There's a SIM card. Yes, there's a SIM card there.
But we know what happened to GSM calls these days. Sometimes even if you send a text today, the person may get it the following day, or you're trying to call, it doesn't happen. What happens in some areas? Because I heard some people say, look, in my local government, there's no network. What happens in that case?
The GSM card there is only meant to be a backup. Because as I said earlier, it records, first of all, the number of people accredited. If in the evening you now go to the collation center, the first thing the collation officer will ask for is a smart card reader, and it opens it, it gets the number of people accredited there.
Well, Peter Sadida has a question for you.
Is a backup.
A very quick one here, which is very key here. He says, does it also reflect that you have voted?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with voting. Don't forget that we are not meant to go to electronic voting yet in this country. So it's only for the purpose of accreditation for now.
So those, so those kicking against electronic voting, thinking INEC is going on with electronic voting, this is not the actual voting.
No, not at all.
It is the accreditation process.
Exactly, that's all.
Could that be the reason why we can't vote immediately after authentication? Because some people are wondering, if we've already been authenticated?
Yes, I was going to say, the other time you say it's a very laborious process, and I do admit it is, deliberately so, to outwit or to be some steps ahead of practices of politicians in this country. We don't want a situation where immediately after accreditation, people come forward to vote and they go away, and you can't think of all sorts of things you can go and do elsewhere in some other polling. We still need to regulate the people's movements on that day to a large extent. We are hoping that in 2019 may not be necessary to do this. We're hoping in 2019 that you can even use your PVC to vote anywhere in the country, but we can only take these steps one after the other. Things have been pretty bad before. We cannot turn things over overnight. It's a matter of one step after the other.
Is it true that INEC offices are still in 9 local government councils in Lagos, Alimosho, Agege, Oshodi, Solo, Ekpe, Ibejuleki, Etiosa, and Surulere?
Sorry, I didn't catch the question. Is it true that
INEC still has offices in 9 local government councils?
Yes, we do.
In Lagos.
We do. And that's, no, it's in 7, not 9. Yes, 7. No, 8. It's in 8. And let me say this is even compared to many other states in the country, it's quite a low number. Virtually out of the 774 local government offices of INEC, not less than 40% of them, if not 50, are in the local government offices. But the question is, are we going to do anything in the local government office on election day? No. When we receive our sensitive materials from the central bank, we bring them first of all to the state office, then from the state office to the local government office, in the presence of security personnel as well as party agents. There are party agents that will also sleep, so to speak, with the sensitive materials. But the moment we begin to deploy the materials, we take them to the collation centers or the racks, registration area centers, which are mainly schools. And within the school premises, all the party agents, observers, the media, as well as kind of officials and security personnel will be there. So we are going to do everything in public places. We are not going to go back, the moment we leave INEC offices, go back there for anything.
So no local government official can influence anything?
No, not at all. Not at all. It will not be possible.
And will you be publishing the polling units 2 weeks before elections?
The polling units are quite a number, 8,462. We have soft copies for whoever wants. We've been giving soft copies out. You can send them by email. But to publish them maybe in a newspaper, no.
All right.
Okay. We have over about 120,000 across the country. We can't do that.
That's how far we can go with Mr. Akin Orebiyi, the Resident Electoral Commissioner in Lagos. Of course, as the days draw nearer, who knows, he may have need to be back here again. But in the meantime, Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you, too.
And thank you too, Engineer. We'll be back after the break. Join us again.